Okay, I want to speak to the Christians in this country first. Now, my appeal to the Christians is to not to get trapped in this Easter bombing. Right? Go beyond it, not to lose sight of it, because the politicians are exploiting your feelings on this. So let the Easter bombing legal thing take its course. And politicians are trying to get your vote by appealing to your feelings, and they're trying to exploit it. Now in the world, if you take Donald Trump is only the Christians in the world. Donald Trump is now you have this secular government. Secular government sounds good, but it is the Western countries are moving away from ethics. So that the secularism has very positive and negative things. Now, if you take Donald Trump, he is trying to concentrate, especially on the IT, AI industries, okay? And he is trying to collect their money there. If you look carefully, and maybe even some petroleum industries and drug industries and things like that. Now, if you have the ICE, right? If you take this immigration services, IEEC, enforcement or something to that effect. It's about 2 or 3 killing in America, and if you look at some of the IT tools developed to suppress the Palestinians, they are now being used in the Western countries. They are very slowly, without being noticed, they are introduced into the Western systems. So now some of the Christians may be supporting the Jewish people, the Israelis, but then they are using some of these IT tools to suppress the Palestinians, and those tools are being introduced to Western countries and countries like us also. They are done in a very subtle manner. So they introduced it. If they don't challenge that in the court of law, then these laws are being implemented. So the world has to fight against this oppression of the Palestinians, because it's the tools which is used to destroy the Palestinians will be used in our countries also, in all the countries. Now, if you take this Canadian Prime Minister, central bank, he said that we were with America because we benefited from it. Now, Donald Trump has tried to move against Greenland, particularly Greenland, and now at the insistence of Israel, that Donald Trump is trying to intimidate and even whack Iran. So Iran also has got ready, and Iran will hit some of these aircraft carriers. That will be their target. Okay. So the Christians will have to organize yourself. You should not depend on the politicians, because they are what is happening in Europe and what is happening in United States of America. They are destroying the middle class, and they are enriching the 2% or 3%, which is mostly centered around the AI industry or IT industry, and mostly it is also the AI industry. So if you take this Buddhist march towards the DC, that could have effect on the Christians. And Christians have to organize yourself, and you have to go back to your morals, right? I mean, let this secularism be there. That's whether that is or not, because especially in the European countries, the leaders are lost because they were with the Americans because they thought they were benefiting from the Americans, right? I mean, and the dollar reserve currency, the dollar had a main effect on it. Right? Americans print a lot of money, and the top people in these European countries, they exported to America, and when they earned the dollars, and those dollars were again was invested in American industries and bonds and treasury bills and things like that. So the dollar is also, because of the reserve currency status, it contributes to this abuse of ethics, right? And Donald Trump is good for the world because he says, I don't believe in this international law. It is all directed by the so-called morality of his. So in a way, he exposes what is the Western system is. And if you exploit the Palestinians, what they are trying to do, what Donald Trump is trying to do is what happened in South Africa. The Palestinians will be used for menial jobs, right? There will be no democracy. And Donald Trump and the peace, so-called peace lobby, will be used to suppress the Palestinians, and that some of the tools which is used to suppress the Palestinians will be used in most of the countries in the world. They'll try to introduce these laws in a very subtle manner so that you will not notice. So you have to organize yourself, and you have to make sure that laws which have been introduced into your countries, not only in our country, even Europe and America, you have to make sure that it is not repressive, because if repressive laws are introduced, okay, if repressive laws are introduced, then it's easy to extract wealth, right? So that whatever it is being tested in Palestine, it will be used in our countries also. So you have to be grateful to the Prime Minister of Mark Carney, because he has just admitted that as long as something benefits you, right, then he will go along with it. Now only the white people, the Caucasian people have realized that Donald Trump is not only going to exploit the brown people and the yellow people, but also is trying to exploit these white people. That's why those so-called leaders in Europe they don't know what to do. They are kind of furious. They went along with the leaders in Europe. They went along with these Americans so far. So in a way, you have to be grateful to Donald Trump, because he has just shown what America is doing. He has exposed it. Other leaders they never exposed it. They were showing that they were exploiting the tricontinent, South America, Africa and Asia. But so in a way that you have to be grateful to Donald Trump, because he is pretty naked. It's not like other politicians in America. And if you take these Epstein files, and Donald Trump has told Margaret Green Taylor that I want to protect my friends. Okay? So I think the Christians in the world have to they have to organize yourself, and they should not trust the politicians in your country, right? And if you take this AFD, alternate for Deutschland, okay, there is a right-wing party in Germany. The usual political establishment is trying to suppress the AFD, and AFD has mentioned about this, the Ukraine war. One of the political leaders in AFC has mentioned that the Western European countries have destroyed themselves by aligning themselves with America. So my appeal to the Christians, especially in the Western world, you have to go back to your morals, okay? Otherwise, they are going to repress you, because economically they want to concentrate power at the very top, maybe 5% of the population in your country, and they are going to wipe out the middle class.